No. No, I don't let them eat. Just kidding, though.
Too much sugar.
That's right.
Yeah, that's so pretty much everybody goes to the theater. Well, I live like not even, I live like 10 minutes away from McDonald's, so.
Sorry. It's taken me a minute to remember people and who they are. Have a good day.
Hello? Okay, making sure it works.
We got a lot of people today. This is nice. I know. Okay, thank you.
No one can pay you.
Here we go. Good morning, you all.
How dress coded? She takes a long time to log in, I can tell you that.
All right, you all at home. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So today class is going to be a little different. Miss Truesdell is going to be joining us today because she is going to talk about high school registration. So we'll wait and see how long this is going to take to see what's going to happen with class today. So do me a favor, all of you at home, make sure you have your cameras on because I want Miss Truesdell to be able to see you. Okay, you don't have to look perfect.
If you're like me, you just make, start looking at yourself in the meeting, fixing your hair.
There you go. So some of you heard me earlier say this, some of you did not. Miss Truesdell is joining us this morning to talk about high school registration. Those of you that still have your cameras off, they need to be on. I don't care if you are looking at the ceiling, but they need to be on because this is a very important class that she's got to talk to you about. If you want to register for high school, get with the program.
Yep, that is what we are doing today. So they're going to want to pay a lot of attention.
I'm missing 3 people.
All right. Well, we can wait. I'll give them time while we're waiting on them. Hopefully they show up. I'm going to get everyone opening up something that you're going to need. Okay, guys? So what I need you all to do is I sent you an email this morning. So please go into your email. And there's going to be 2, when you look at that email, there's going to be 2 links. So I'll give you a second to open up that email.
And Garrett, you can hear okay back there? Miss Truesdell, 2 of the people that are absent are my in-person people. So
Okay. As long as they can hear me, that's great.
no, I said 2 of the people that are absent.
Oh, I follow you now. I was a little slow on that one.
It's okay.
They'll just get caught up later. Hopefully they'll check their email and they'll see it.
Miss Truesdell, guess what today is?
Today is March 30th.
Emily.
Oh, no.
18 today.
I can't hear she turns 18.
I know. Mommy can't either. But when I put her on the bus this morning, I let her know that she can be arrested now. Yes, that's my daughter. She's special needs. I cannot believe she's 18. Ooh,
Emily's not going to do anything to get arrested. Well, she
she
might.
might steal food.
She'll steal your food.
So, I mean, it's up to you if you want to go ahead and get started.
Yeah, we'll go ahead. I have rights to share screen, right?
Yes, you should.
Awesome. So I'm going to do, let's do this real quick because I think I know where most of the people in this room are going, but just to help me out, if you are going to be attending La Plata next year, raise your hand so that way in the little thing, however you want to do it, where you put that yellow hand up, whatever it is, so I can see how many are attending La Plata. 4, only 5.
Garrett Higdon in my room has his hand raised too.
If you applied to North Point, you should have heard back by now. 7, 8, 9. Okay, most of us are going to La Plata. And even if you applied to North Point, you still have to fill this out for what's called your feeder school. You always have to have it in case something happens and you do not get to go to North Point. They have to have your course selection sheet. Or if they don't, you'll end up with whatever's left over. So we act like you're going to whatever school you're assigned to. So I'm going to do and I think I hit all the things. Yeah, that was in the chat. All right. So I'm going to actually open up the La Plata form. So in that email that you guys clicked on, you saw 2 links. One link was for the La Plata form, and then one link was for the McDonough form. Pick whatever high school you are supposed to attend. You're going to click on that form, and it should look like what I'm looking at right now.
Garrett.
I have to put this plug in for Miss Jones. Proofs of domicile. They are due by April 12th. However, April 12th is the Monday that we come back from spring break. We highly suggest getting your proofs in by this Thursday. So Miss Jones has a moment to look over them. She has to make sure that they are accurate and that they are appropriate for what she needs to be submitted, because you cannot be registered for high school classes if your proofs of domicile are not submitted. All right. So if you have any questions, I know that's more of a parent thing. And being a parent, I know us parents sometimes forget, or we kind of put it on the back burner sometimes. You may need to remind your parents, hey, I need you to get this done, because if you don't do this, I don't get to register for my high school classes. And so you might want to make sure that don't overkill it, but you're going to want to remind them. Okay. So we're going to talk about course selection sheets. As you can see here, this link right here We'll link you to what is called the Program of Studies, the High School Programs of Studies booklet. It will talk about every program that's offered in Charles County that you could have applied for or taken. I did see that one person applied for North Point. That's a different scenario. Most times when you're taking a program at North Point, your courses are pretty much selected for you at that point. So now you're going to see here your core classes: math, language arts, science, social studies. Those are going to be picked by your teacher. For instance, you guys are all sitting in Algebra 1 right now. If you all pass Algebra 1, you all automatically go on to geometry. If you fail, then Miss Nelson has to recommend you to take Algebra 1 again. And so Miss Nelson will be telling us what math class you're going into, just like your language arts teacher, your science teacher, and your social studies. And for the most part, it's if you're on grade level, you stay on grade level. You may have a chance to come up. Or if you're enrichment, you stay going through the honors program. Okay? Not much change will happen there. So that's why your teachers will select those classes for you. Next, key for students that you have to carefully plan out this year. And you can only take a total of 7 credits. All right. Couple notes right here. If you do not fill out this form and actually submit it after, not when we're done in class today, you'll submit it later on after you have your parent's signature. If you do not submit it, you'll be getting Mr. Marcioni and myself will be hounding you to get it in. But and even after that, if you don't, well, then we pick your classes for you. And I don't think you guys want me picking your classes for you or the high school counselor picking your classes for you. So here's the key. Everyone has to take a fine arts credit and a tech ed credit to graduate. That's a requirement. So we're going to want to make sure that in your freshman year, hopefully you're fulfilling some of those requirements. These 2 symbols right here mean that an application or addition was required to be able to take it, or a portfolio. This symbol, it says must be taken concurrently. I think you're not going to see that one throughout because I physically made these forms, and it says, for instance, some classes require you to be in Algebra 1 or have taken Algebra 1 already. And those are the keys. All right, so here we go. On this form, first thing I want everyone to do, type in your first name. Then I want you to type in your last name, your student ID, and here you can just put PICO.
And they're doing this right now?
Yep, complete it right now with.
Please make sure you're in the correct high school one.
Yep, because you don't want me submitting, if you're a McDonough student, sending your course selection to La Plata. And if you don't know what high school you're zoned for, please ask, because I have access to that right now.
All right, hold on. Someone has a question in my room.
Okay, go ahead.
Are they actually picking their class right now?
We are going to hopefully have them select their classes right now. And so my suggestion is, and I was going to get to that next on when we got to section 2, to get out a sheet of paper and a pencil to also write these down in case the form gets wiped clear. We're going to pick most of them. You may have some things you need to discuss with mom or dad or whoever at home.
But they're not going to submit their final selection until mom and dad sign off on it.
Correct.
Okay.
And because the way these forms come through, I will know if you submitted it without your parent's signature, because that will be left blank. And I will have to have you get it. You'll have to resubmit the form.
Yes. Can you hear him?
No, but I was answering Haley Gandy's question of yes, it is a fine art. I'll get there though.
Okay. And well, because someone in here was saying like if they select something, but they'll still have a chance to change it because their parents haven't signed it yet.
Correct.
Okay. Does that help you? Okay.
This is to get you really going through and hopefully for the most part have everything almost done. And that way when you go home, you're going to notice that email I sent you guys, your parents were all tagged on it. So that way, as long as they're in Synergy, that way they know that it's coming. And that's what you did today in class. All right. So everyone, if you're not done with questions 1 through 4, please let Ms. Nelson or myself know. So that way I'll stay a little longer, but I think most of you will be done by now. All right, so this next one, it's talking about please select a pathway towards graduation. Everyone has to complete a pathway to graduate. That's part of state requirements. Part of those pathways were the CTE programs that are offered at North Point. But here's what's left at all schools. All schools have these pathways that are here, and I'm going to go over each one so you understand. There's the La Plata, it's the Navy Junior ROTC. At McDonough, it's Army. That's the only difference. You're going to notice between the McDonough form and the La Plata form, there's a few differences in courses. But if you want to do ROTC, that's considered a pathway towards graduation. You have to do it for so many years. There's a business education pathway, and these are all things we went over when we went over CTE classes and applying for North Point, but I'm going over them again. If you ever think about wanting to open your own business, this is another pathway. Pathway to engineering. This is one of those ones where you must be, which you guys are all in Algebra 1. So you have already taken it, so you could sign up for the pathway to engineering. There's the Biomedical Science. Once again, you've had to have taken Algebra 1, which you guys are all clear. With this one, if you take this one, we have to enroll you in biology honors. Everyone else takes a different science. But as soon as you click this, we will physically go in and change the science class that you're in, because everyone automatically gets, I think it's called Earth Systems. But if you take this, we'll fix it for you. There's a computer science program. Once again, you have to be in Algebra 1 to take it. The world language program, for most of you, this is the easiest pathway to fulfill, and it's a highly recommended pathway. And yes, you can do multiple pathways. Like, for example, someone can take biomedical science. They're also going to fulfill this world language pathway as well. Reason being, all colleges require you to have 2 years of a world language. So most of you are already in Spanish 1. It's highly suggested that you will take Spanish 2. And don't worry, if you click on one of these here, it will take you to be able to pick your world language as well. And then let's say you're someone who's just not sure what you want to do, which is totally okay. That's this undecided piece right here. Because there are more pathways when you become a sophomore in high school that you'll be able to pick from going into your junior year. Maybe at that point you decide you want to do the firefighter program, or you want to do the, I want to say welding and an automotive and HVAC. Those programs open up again when you become a junior. You can select to take them. So you can be undecided at this point. But I highly suggest most of you are going to at least be that world language, especially if you're in Miss Fitzgerald's class right now, because that gets a pathway out of your way, under your belt. And if you have any thought of going to college, you need to do the world language. Okay. So at this point, I want you to take a moment, go ahead and think about what pathway you want to pick. I'm going to give you a moment and you can pick one. Great question, Mark. 8th grade Spanish, the one you're currently in right now, if you're in Spanish with Miss Fitzgerald, that is Spanish 1. That is the prerequisite to do Spanish 2. If you're not currently in Spanish, then you would sign up for Spanish 1. And yes, if you do biomed, you absolutely will be able to do the world language piece. So I'm going to show you guys real quickly. Many of you may have already clicked already, but I'm going to pretend I'm doing that biomed piece that a lot of people want to do. When I click on it, I may not be able to because the way I'm in the form. Hold up. It's not going to let me click on it right now. When you take that biomedical science, it will automatically, after you do that, it's going to ask you what world language you want to take. And that is question 6 right here. At La Plata, you're offered Latin. At McDonough, it's French. So that's one of the differences between the two schools. But most of you, I believe, are going to take this Spanish 2, where you click. If you're not interested in a world language at all, then you would click here. However, if you're already in Spanish 1, I'm going to keep repeating this. We highly suggest taking Spanish 2, or you can take Latin. So that way you get your world language credit out of the way. Because if you have any thoughts about going to college, that is a prerequisite that they require.
We're getting straight in class too.
The question about, do you have to take Spanish again? That must mean that you are not, and I'm not going to name names. I'm going to say this very blankly for everyone. Let's say you're in Spanish right now and you're not passing. If you have an F, yes, you would, if you wanted to do a world language, you could take Spanish 1 again, or you could switch over to Latin, and Latin's good for SATs. And that's if you're failing. If you pass Spanish with a D, then you could go on to Spanish 2. And if that did not answer your question, feel free to type me again so I can answer it better. All right. Miss Nelson, do you get to see all of their hands?
Because I'm sharing a screen, I do not.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, like I'm only seeing 3 people, and some of them I think still have their hands up from when you asked them what high school they were going to.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that I'm not moving too fast for anyone, that I'm giving them time to really think this over, because my goal is for you guys to have pretty much finished this sheet, and you're really only going home to talk a couple things over with your parents and be able to submit it. All right.
So can I say, so you guys, I know a lot of you don't like to unmute and talk, especially this class. Please, if you have questions for her, this is your time to ask, because it's not like you can go down to her office right now and speak to her.
Right. And especially I'll be in math classes all day today, so I'm going to be harder to get a hold of, and I have a couple other meetings. So when I look at this, if you're passing Spanish, my suggestion is to take Spanish 2 to get it out of the way. If you are thinking about going to college at all, I would say yes. But no, you do not have to take it again if you do not want to. But if you're thinking about college, either your option is to take Spanish 2, or you could switch and do that Latin class. That Latin, and it would be Latin 1, and it would still count as having 2 years of world language for college. And Latin 1 is kind of cool because that's the root of our language, so that it really helps with SAT prep when it comes to breaking down those big words that we don't know what they are. It helps you be able to understand root words and be able to figure it out. So that's the bonus of Latin. All right, at this point, I'm going to assume everyone has picked a pathway. And after, I thought it was Mr. Lilly teaches Latin.
I think didn't he retire?
Oh, you might be right, actually. I'll be honest, I don't know.
But his last name's not Lilly, it's Mr. Blaine.
Okay, there we go. Mr. Blaine, I know, is getting close to retirement or not retiring, so that's an iffy one. All right, and I'm going to assume if you've picked a pathway at this point, you have decided about your world language, what you want to do. I know some of you are on the fence post, you are asking good questions. So now here's the key.
Hold on.
Pause.
Okay. Hold on 1 second, Miss Truesdell. You got to talk louder. Okay, they're asking, I think on their screen, does it say to click next?
Yes.
So that you want them to click next?
In 1 second, everyone should have that piece of paper and pencil now. I want you on that paper to first write the pathway you chose. And this is it for in case, and don't think, well, it's never going to happen to me. These forms sometimes erase very easily. I want you to write the pathway you chose on your paper. If you have an agenda book, that'd be even better. Just write in your agenda book. Pick your write your pathway and write your language, whether you're taking one or not. Mark, I'll answer that when I get there because I got a lot to explain to everyone when it comes to that. All right, everyone should have wrote their pathway and their world language. Now we're going to start talking about electives. All right, now here's the key. Electives, some of you have already selected some of your electives, and this is where it gets tricky, so you got to pay attention. You're going to pick 3 electives if you select undecided and not interested in taking a world language. You get 3 options. I don't know how many of you chose that route. Okay, next. You get 2 elective courses if you selected a pathway and then not interested in taking a world language. And the reality is most of you should not be in those 2 right there. All right. Selected world language as your pathway. If you selected world language, you have 2 left. Last one, select 1 elective course if you selected a pathway and a world language. The reason being, all those pathways already chose 1 class for you because it's the first class in the pathway. If you're going to do the world language to make sure that you're getting that credit under your belt, then you've already chosen 2 of your electives. So that means you have to pick 1 more elective. All right, so now we're going to go right here to this key. Notice the @ symbol. That means a fine art credit. Pound symbol, or as most of you would call it as a hashtag, it's known as pound, number sign, that represents a tech ed credit. Everyone has to take a fine arts credit or a tech ed credit before you graduate. So now is the time to get some of that out of the way, depending on how many electives you have left. Also, now that I'm going to scroll down to all these electives you have to choose from, you're going to notice there's a lot of them. Fitness for Life, the very first one, is recommended for all 9th graders. However, sometimes it doesn't fit in the schedule because if you pick to be a biomed pathway and then you're also taking your Spanish 2 world language to get it out of the way and you want to continue in band, that's it. You've already picked all your electives because you only get 3. And so you would take Fitness for Life and Health later on, and that's okay. However, if you're not one of those students where you've picked Biomed, Spanish 2, and all that good stuff, then you're going to want to take Fit for Life and Health. That's 1 credit put together. Let me look here. I see some questions. Yes, Morgan, you're only picking 1. Yes, Haley, you get to pick 2. So, for instance, if you chose a pathway and you took Spanish 2, you're going to pick one of these here. If you're already in band, chorus, or orchestra and want them, go ahead and pick it.
All right, hold on, time out, Ms. Truesdell. Yes. Yeah, this is only 9th grade that you're picking for. Okay, sorry, Ms. Truesdell.
That's okay. Good questions. So right now you're going to go and you're selecting. Now to answer the other question, Marks. It is highly suggested, one of the 3 computer science classes, to take that if you have room to take Fit for Life, PE, and your health, it's highly suggested to take that as a freshman if you have the room. There's going to be quite a few of you that don't, and that's okay.
You'll see as you go through and start picking stuff if you're going to have enough room for it.
This is the only one where they can pick more than they're supposed to, but there is no way to stop them on forms. Okay. All right, Mark, here we go. Mark, feel free. I don't know. Does Mark get embarrassed? I don't want to call him out in front of everyone. But tell me what you've already picked, Mark, so that way I can help you to know if you have the room. You can talk if you want.
I want to know if I can get Fitness for Life or Foundations of Technology.
Okay, so what did you select a pathway up here? What pathway did
I selected Computer Science and Spanish 2.
Okay, that means you have 1 credit left. Okay. And so you're debating whether you should take that Fit for Life or this Foundations of Technology. My suggestion to you would be to take that Fitness for Life.
Okay.
And then I'll tell you, keep in mind that Foundations of Technology, because that's going to show up here in a minute.
Will I have the opportunity to pick exploring computer science later?
Honestly, you may not need that class depending on how versed you are. Because once you take, and this is my understanding, this Intro to Computer Programming, it's a higher level class than that Exploring Computer Science, so you may not need it. Bella
Okay.
picked 2. I don't know if she heard me. Bella picked 2. Every year, what happens is you always take your 4 basic courses, your 4 core, and then you get to select 3. So you guys are all selecting your 3 right now. And some years, based on what pathway you picked, you may not really get to pick much because the pathway is filling it up for you. It is so funny. So I can hear Mr. Marcioni talking because I can hear him through the walls. And then I think because I can hear him from Jill's room as well. It's like I'm hearing him in surround sound.
That is so funny.
Does anyone have any question about any of the electives? And I don't know if I said this because I suggested to take the Fitness for Life PE and the health course. That is a requirement to graduate as well. And that's why they recommend getting it done in your 9th grade year. And then you do have to get one of the fine arts, which is an @ symbol at some point throughout your high school year. And then also you have to get a tech ed credit, which is one of the hashtag ones. All right. Now, make sure you've written down that class or classes, whatever you picked right there. Please add that to your piece of paper. Haley, I believe it's a total of 21 or 23. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'd have to go look up exactly what the number is.
Bless you. And remember, right now, this is not set in stone. This is just your thoughts so that you and your parents can have that discussion tonight.
Yeah, it's 21, I believe it is. Okay. All right. Oh, Morgan, when you go, good question. PE is the Fitness for Life. When you take PE, you're automatically signing up for, I just lost what I was sharing. It's hiding. Fitness for Life right here, you're automatically signing up for health because Fitness for Life is a half credit and so is health. So that together they make for a full year course. What is the difference between the 2 orchestras? concert band. Concert orchestra and symphonic orchestra. Symphonic is honors, so you have to audition.
And that might be something like if you happen to have or orchestra, band, whatever, or even chorus today, or what's today, Tuesday or Thursday, talk to them about it. Talk to Ms. Eichholz, talk to Ms. Lineberry to see what they suggest also.
All of these, as far as I know, when you sign up for one of these, they all perform at some point or another. The unfortunate piece, and I'm very sad to say that normally we have McDonough or whoever come and showcase how the theaters go and the different, what these look like right before Christmas. But since we were virtual, we couldn't do that. But yes, all of them perform at some point. All right. Hopefully you've made your selections there and you've written them on your piece of paper. So next, the next 3 questions are actually the exact same question. You have to choose 3 alternative electives. This is in case these electives that you just selected here in question 7, maybe they're full and you can't get into them. Or maybe because of what you selected, it won't fit into your schedule. You have to have alternatives. Most people get what they choose, especially if you're choosing band, chorus, orchestra, any of that. Most times you're automatically in those because they can hold many students. It's when you get some of these other classes, maybe foundations of technology, they only have enough to fulfill one class and not enough for a second class, so they may not host the second class, which is why you have to have alternatives. Now, these alternatives, there are 3 classes that you have not selected up here. If you selected them up here, you are not choosing them again. It doesn't make your odds better to get into them, picking them as an alternative. It's actually made your odds less to get what you want. Because here's the reality. Let's say you chose this Foundations of Technology course, and then you come down here and as elective, choose it 3 times. That's not going to get you in it. Basically, what you did is you're not going to get to choose your next alternative. We're going to choose it for you. Because when we're doing these master schedules or during the summer, and if you don't have alternatives selected, and you may get one of these alternatives, it's going to automatically put you in something and you won't be able to change your schedule. So please, please, please do not select the same one over and over and over again. For those of you that were here the past 2 years when we did activity Paul time, you know how I would say, don't pick the same one, because if you don't get what you want, I'm picking it for you. Some of you have felt that wrath before and how I would not change it. Okay, so now when you come down here, you're selecting your alternative. And so I'm going to give an example. Maybe you picked biomed as your first one, as your pathway. And then you said you wanted to take your world language. So you selected that. And then you wanted to be in band. So you selected that. And let's say for some odd reason, more than likely if you've chosen them, you're getting into them. But for some odd reason, you don't. It is highly suggested that you put Fitness for Life and Health as your backup because it's a required course. So you're going to want, if you have not selected it already, please make sure you have Fitness for Life as one of your alternative electives. The next thing that is suggested, let's say you're already doing band. Well, you need a tech ed credit to graduate. Some of you may be going, well, oh, I'd like to try art. If you already have your fine arts piece of band, go select one of these tech eds that you're going to have to do to graduate. The key is you want to get the things that you have to do done early. So that way later on, as you're getting to be a junior and senior, you're actually doing classes that you really want to do. To answer your question, can I do course and PE as a freshman? If you've picked a pathway in a world language, no, you can't do both. And that's where we would suggest doing chorus, because the PE you can take at any time. You don't want to go a year without course. If course is something you really enjoy and you think you're going to take all 4 years of high school, you're going to want to stick with it. Great question, Mark. And I would suggest taking an alternative like the business management, because I do think some of the ones that you're looking at are going to be below you. And I mean, it's okay to have one. You have to pick 3 electives, so if you want to pick one of them, but having the business management is a great idea. So now you're picking your 3 alternatives. And you're going to notice I also added, let's say maybe ROTC was something you thought about, but you didn't want to make it your pathway. You could choose it as an alternative elective. And yes, some people do 2 pathways of maybe they're going to get that computer pathway and they want the business one. You might be able to complete both depending on how your classes line up. So after you've made your 3 selections, which I know is going to take you a little bit of time, please write them on your sheet of paper. You want to have that sheet of paper so that way you can look back. It gives you something to take home and discuss with your parents other than just the form. Nobody is submitting the form right now. Because when you look here, this question 11 is where your parents sign. And you don't want to submit this without that parent signature, because once you submit this and we got your parent signature there.
And can I suggest, don't sign it for your parents. Please discuss this with them.
Because being a counselor, it's really hard when I get the parent going, I never saw this, or I didn't know. The unfortunate piece is we cannot just change courses at the beginning of the year. It is not as easy as people think, because there's numbers we have to think about. Pico, we're a small school, so classes fill up quickly. La Plata, they're dealing with over 1,000 people. That's way harder to make course selections changes because classes are full. So please, please, please make sure you discuss it with them and you have everything that you want. And you're going to notice, I'm going to read this one line here. Counselors will choose classes for students who do not turn in the complete course selection sheet by the due date, and changes will not be allowed. Requests for course changes after the beginning of the school year will be honored only in extenuating circumstances for the first 10 days of school.
All right, if you have a question, because it's very hard for Miss Truesdell and I to see the screens because we're sharing a screen, and I don't know if we're getting all the chats. So if you have a question, so Jayla, I see you have the hand up. Did you need to talk to Miss Truesdell?
Probably left it up there.
Okay. So this is your time right now, because now we can see the whole screen. If you have a question, you may raise the hand virtually, and let's get these questions answered. I do know that there was one kid who joined late, Miss Truesdell.
Gotcha. That may need to go through it again.
Yeah. And
Yep.
I can always stick you in a breakout room. I don't know.
In 1 second, because here's what I would normally do. Because
Well, I'm going to send you the name.
I think I know who it is.
Okay.
Oh, nope, that's not who I was thinking of. Okay. All right. looking at, normally when I'm doing this presentation, I'd be in the classroom with you. And being that I can't be, there's no way for me to know that you have participated with me other than I would like everyone right now to take that sheet of paper where you've recorded all your selections. I want you to hold that up in front of your camera right now for me to check out.
I can tell you Garrett did it. He's in person with me.
Thank you. Awesome. Thank you, Paige. Thank you, Morgan. Cordell, I don't see any writing, although I see you holding up your paper. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Morgan.
I see Cordell's now.
Yeah, good, good. I just want to make sure that you guys have courses selected. I got Dylan and Shelby and Dalton. Yep, you guys can put them down. Perfect. Make sure that you need to have some sort of idea of what you are doing.
Do you want to see mine? Because I'd like to go to high school too.
No, you may not go to high school with Emily.
Darn. Well, can I go to high school with Haley Gandy?
Survey says no.
Oh, darn. Sorry, Haley. I tried to go to high school with you.
You're not allowed to leave me in middle school by myself.
Oh, okay. I'll stay with you.
Perfect, Bailey. I love that you took a picture with your phone. Love it. Thank you, Austin.
Garrett, what's your question?
Could we X this document out and then just refill it out with the
Yeah. And also, guys, I was just sitting here thinking, remember, Miss Truesdell has office hours, right, Miss Truesdell?
Well, we've changed it because
Oh, never mind. Don't listen to me.
flex time is if they need to see me, flex time, but it's going to be, today is going to be scarce because between being in all the math classes and I have a couple other meetings, which are
But
done.
they can always try to sign up with you like Thursday or, well, not Friday. We don't have school Friday.
Yeah, that's one reason why I know this felt really rushed and I'm going to thank Miss Nelson right now for letting us come in because everything's been kind of last minute with what they got to us. We wanted you to have this information before spring break. And we could have waited till Thursday, but I didn't like that idea because I know when most of you are done Thursday, you're going to be done. You're not going to be thinking about school. I would love for you guys to have all these submitted back to me by Thursday. Because that gives you tonight when you go home, or if you're already home, when your parents get home, if they're not home already, that gives you all day tomorrow during asynchronous learning to talk it over with them at some point. And trust me, I get it because my household is very busy. And that's why I'm trying to give you time to be able to get this back to me because the sooner you get it in, the better. And then make sure you get those proofs of domicile in. And I know some of you are at home right now and your parent may be home. So after you're done with this, you can go talk to them during flex time and have them sign off and submit it right away. Is there anyone that needs help?
Hold on one second. Say it again.
What is the final due date?
What is the due date of this?
I have it. I got to think of where I put it. I had it written down on a sheet. Well, I had it on my paper that I moved somewhere.
Hold on. I'll get you the due date.
Where did I set that paper?
It doesn't say in the email by chance?
No, because the email was just telling them that what we were doing.
Oh, okay. I felt like you said earlier.
Here we go. Oh, the 12th. We're just going to make it the same day as proofs because
Okay.
I have to take this information that you guys are submitting to me and have it ready to go over with the people that are above me in the world for doing this on April 14th.
So you have to have it done by the 12th. Okay. So any other questions? You can, now that we can see you guys, you can either raise your hand virtually, or because Miss Truesdell is a co-host, you can send her a direct question. And if by chance you would like to go to a breakout room and talk to her more individually, I can set that up for you too.
Yeah, so if there's something very specific you want to ask, feel free for a breakout room. Utilize this time. We have what, about 10 minutes left in class?
The more you ask her questions, the less we have to do math.
The way to get it done. I always forget you have two computers going because I'm like, why are you muted and still being able to be heard?
Right. Because I am cool like that.
Oh, survey says yes, you are.
So no questions?
Everyone's got their form all ready to go, ready to ask mom, dad, whoever at home, right?
I do want to send you and that one student to a breakout room that joined late.
Uh-huh.
So why don't I do that, and then I can talk to my class. So let me assign you.
When will we get to know what we selected?
When will you get to know if you got what you selected?
Yes.
That won't happen until next year come August. Because what happens is, so we take all this information, and high schools have to create their master schedule based on the numbers they have per class. And so you will not get your schedule until August, probably a week before school starts, maybe 2.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to send Miss Truesdell to a breakout room with a student. I want the rest of you to stay on so I can talk to you. So I'm going to open the breakout room. So check if you have a invite.
Awesome, Paige.
All right. So now it's Miss Nelson's turn to talk. This, like I said, this was thrown on us very, very last minute. Okay. And so the math teacher said, hey, we'll help you guys out because guidance found out very last minute also. So here's the deal. You have no homework tonight. Don't be upset. Stop crying. No homework tonight. You have no asynchronous lesson for tomorrow. So please ignore what the class website says. We will pick up on Thursday with an activity, and then we'll go right into spring break. So no math homework. The only homework I want you to do tonight and tomorrow is to talk with your teachers, talk with your parents, okay? Discuss your course selection sheet with your parents. That's what your math homework is tonight. Also, please make sure, like if you're thinking about Spanish too, talk to Miss Fitzgerald. If you're trying to think about orchestra, band, chorus, where should you go from here? Talk to those teachers, Eichholtz and Lineberry. All right. That's what your math homework is tonight. Come up with any questions. If you need to set up an appointment with Miss Truesdell or Mr. Marchioni, depending on who your counselor is, or if you need to talk, write an email to one of those teachers to discuss where you should go next year as far as courses. That's your only homework. So ignore the class website. Got it? And Haley, I'm going to try to petition to see if I can go to high school with you. Okay.
Stop it.
So if you do not have any questions for Miss Truesdell or myself, you may log off, and I will see you Thursday.
And just so you know, Miss Nelson, with Haley, I'm going too.
Okay. You, me, and Haley will be the Three Musketeers. All right. Hey, sorry, we have a guidance presentation on high school course selections. And that's my one 7th grader who it doesn't pertain to.
Who's in there?
Miss Heddle, my boss.
Hi, Miss Heddle.
Miss Truesdell's talking.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
All right, Charlie, Summer, Kaylin, Jayla. Do any of you have any questions for Miss Truesdell about high school course selection sheets?
I think they just want to hang out with me.
Either that or they could be sleeping.
No, it's just doing that thing where it's not letting me leave because my thing's being laggy.
Oh, it's not letting you leave, so you have to spend all day with me, Charlie.
Too bad.
Oh, someone left. Good to see you. All right, Miss Truesdell, we're good?
Yeah, we're good. Then I'm out.
So I don't see you till 7-8.
Correct.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, besides Charlie, Summer, or Jayla, do you guys have a question for me?
Hello, how are you? We are getting ready for high school.
All right.